What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am BDLM, coming with my buddy J4Y, bringing you episode number 94 of our Dota on Demand podcast. What is going on, man?
Brought to you by Crest. Keep those smiles fresh.
You totally just ruined our marketing scheme. Now, they've gotten free publicity. Are we supposed to make money off that now, Jay?
Oh, wait, we're supposed to get the sponsorship first and then do it. Oh, wrong order.
Yes. And then you just smile super hard and awkwardly into the camera. Everything is right in the world.
Okay, I think I just scared all the viewers away. Yeah, so what's going on? I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, like you said, 94. We're doing what everyone is probably not expecting this week, especially because ESL Frankfurt just ended. Pretty epic event. I hope everyone got to watch it. And if not, I'm sure the VODs are out there in the interwebs, but we are not covering that tonight, though. What are we covering?
Well, I don't even know. J4Y is just Notes Man McGee over there. I don't even know what that means. Sounds like something you would say. He's got the game plan. I know nothing. Largely going to be about our pub games we played over the last week, talking a little bit about the things that have been patched into the game. With the international stuff, as well as, you know, some viewer shoutouts and conversation based off that, and of course the viewer question of the week. Pretty much just started off, if I am correct on that one.
Feel free, do as you will. Do you want
Go for
to?
it.
Oh,
Go
you want
for it.
me to? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I guess we should start with the old question, huh? And go into the new one. Okay. So the previous question of the week was the model rework. We had there was 8 choices at the time, and we asked who you guys thought should be chosen to receive it. Now, there was a lot of opinions. We got a lot of feedback like on the first day that we even posted the question on Facebook, and it seemed to be a real popular general consensus that Slardar, Mr. Fishman, needed. Well, I guess Lark's a Fishman too, so I don't know if I should call him Mr. Fishman or what. But either way, Slardar was a little bit of a rant. Slardar was the popular choice. However, not so successful as it turns out. Not popular among the community.
You know, I don't know. I keep looking back at these two, and I feel like they're just both equally terrible. But I guess at the end of the day, Viper's in like portrait looks like some sort of weird toxic cat thing that like fell into some sort of St. Patrick's Day coloring that he just kind of looks weird and strange. I feel like there's a lot of potential for him too, especially when you consider like how Venomancer went from looking kind of meh to like looking super like sharp and slick, and really you feel the poison just rolling off of his skin. I feel like Viper is going to be able to get a pretty good remake with that.
The flying triangle? Yeah.
Yes, the flying triangle. I feel like there's a lot of potential there. I'm almost sort of sad that Juggernaut, I don't even understand that one. Juggernaut beats Witch Doctor. Or no, it's now Juggernaut against... Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about, Jay.
No.
Juggernaut
This
beats
is where...
Doctor.
Let Mr. Notes get to this.
I'm all over the place this week.
It's fine. It's now down to Viper and Faceless in the final 2.
Yeah.
But Viper beat Juggernaut, and Faceless beat PA, which we had...
Wait, no. There's
for
still
the
one
model,
day to pick.
For the model rework?
Yes, you can still cancel your thing and recast your vote. Yes?
I get it now. Let me explain what happened. Mr. Notes may be a little off, but let me explain what happened.
I go to sleep for one day, Jay.
Oh,
This
no.
is what
I got
happens.
pretty much all the info. Let me explain.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at it, right?
Yep.
And then realized...
I hope.
No, I was. And then I
Uh-huh.
realized just now,
Yeah.
that those are the votes that I casted.
Those are the ones
But
that you
they're
casted.
the ones that should be right. And they will be. I'm just a teller of the future. So let me just tell you now that Viper's going to beat Juggernaut. And Faceless is going to beat PA. That's just what's going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. I'm shocked as well as awed that Juggernaut people voted Juggernaut to get reworked before Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor looks god awful.
Yeah, Witch Doctor does. I mean, his voice, he should never get a voice change. But the look, I agree.
This is a completely different thing. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Juggernaut's image is iconic. He has a shirt. I'm just saying, what happens if they change his model? And there are all these like TI shirts of Juggernaut, and they're just like, I don't know who that is anymore. I mean, people are going to be so confused. And Witch Doctor, he has nothing going for him. He's a purple people eater, and that's really all I know about him.
Well, we had the viewers. We had 4 Slardars and 1 Slurter, and then apparently, and then we had 1 Viper and one Phantom Assassin and 1 Witch Doctor vote. So, like I said, the general consensus among our viewers was the Slardar. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess that was such a hard-pitted thing. Like, I wish it wasn't down to them at that stage. You know, it's like seeing your top 2 favorite teams in the round of 16, and one of you has to get eliminated early. It's like, oh, they both need to make it towards the end, but unfortunately not. But I feel like the Flying Triangle has a really good shot against Juggernaut. I mean, he's just one of those heroes that he almost looks like a tree. I don't even know.
A tree.
I can see him being like a tree. Honestly.
Okay.
A tree with wings. Like, he's so dull.
Most of these, I feel like I would be okay with them getting changed, but I would actually be super sad if Juggernaut made it to the finals and there was a chance he could get reworked. I mean, for the most part, whatever. But I feel like I actually really like the way he looks, so I wouldn't want to change him around.
And they couldn't do a voice change to people that have voice packs, could they? Or they're going to have to redo all those, too.
Would they?
But then it's worth more if the voice is changed. Now you have the original.
There you go.
Kind of like the Redskins with their icon getting changed. Anyways, bringing RL stuff. What am I doing? So, yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, because I'm a teller of futures, I believe, it's going to be down to Viper and Faceless. Whose fortune is it really? That's the thing. Either way. So, that's our result. The new question of the week, which you guys should be picking up on here. Which hero would you use in a blind, that's the key word, so you don't know what you're up against. Not that you're playing blind, although you could do that too. That might make it harder.
Yes.
1v1 mid matchup.
Yes. I think my initial question, or my answer to this would be probably Venomancer, to be honest. If you're playing by the rules of First Blood or Tower, I am not that good at outplaying people, so I feel like Venomancer is a great, safe choice. You have the potential, if they overextend, to get a kill on them. You're not going to lose your tower if you go for the ward build. It's going to be kind of difficult to deal with him. He's good at beating lane dominators or standing up against lane dominators like OD, so I think that might be a great way to go, because I feel like most people should be like, oh yeah, I'll take like OD or Razor, or somebody that's going to be able to hard counter a lot of people that would walk in that middle lane. I think that's a pretty good safe bet. I don't know, what about you?
It's tough, right? Because on one hand, I want to choose Sniper. I do. Wow, and at the same time I say that, someone in the chat says Sniper at the same exact time, which is just beautiful. But because obviously he beats a lot of different heroes with that far range, the headshot annoyance, the vision you can get in the tower siege. But at the same time, what if they go Pudge? Sniper's done. Like, Pudge is going to annihilate Sniper in most cases. If he's a decent Pudge, that is. So, but you can't really pick based on, like I said, it's blind. So I can't really go on that feeling. I think I'm going to say Sniper. I don't know what you were expecting from me. Did you have someone you thought I was going to say?
I mean, I would expect that after playing 5 games of Windranger that you would just be like all about that mid.
Oh, see, after playing those 5 games, I know I don't want to do it mid.
Oh,
yeah, that's what.
Sad day.
We'll get to that.
Mid IO.
That's strong.
Forever.
That's hella strong. Yeah, why not?
IO by himself in a 1v1 matchup middle. What could go wrong? He'll relocate back to Fountain to fill his bottle and then come right back to the
like
middle
the
lane.
Kuka X marks the spot, except an ultimate. So it's fine. And you're kind of predictable where you're going to come back to, but that's fine. Yeah, so anyways, that's the question, folks. I want you guys to think on that. We'll post it on the Facebook and the Twitter. You guys can send us some messages. We'll collect the results and give back our favorite ones. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, shout-outs, because this question is actually inspired by something submitted by one of our viewers. Go for it, Jay.
Yes, Eddie Pet Eldrazi is the viewer. And I had to first of all say apologies to him. he tuned in to last night. We played a lot of pub shenanigans. I had a lot of fun streaming it. But he came in, he made a comment, and I noticed a guy named Pet Eldrazi, and I thought it sounded dirty to me. And I was like Pet my Eldrazi? Like, is he... Where is that going? And, you know, I started to ruminate on it, and then he corrected me quickly saying it's not dirty. So I do apologize for that. But anyways, he did a nice lengthy post on our Facebook page and told us about a little 1v1 mid-league that he's starting amongst his Dota friends. It's going to basically last over a month or something, and sounds like a really interesting and cool concept.
Yeah, really, this is pretty legit, pretty hardcore in like the rules for something just getting thrown together for fun. But basically, you know, going to be doing those mirror matches mid to you know, everybody gets to play everybody else. A point system, like this is pretty legit 1v1 matchup. So I'm really curious to see how it turns out, and I hope we get updates as the tournament continues, as it happens to go. These things are always impressive to me because, like I said, I suck at all 1v1 matchups. Most of my kills as a solo are because people underestimate level 5 Lone Druid and randomly getting entangled and just
it's the worst.
Have their face bashed in over and over again. So, you know, it's one of those things where I watch it all because I know that there's no way I could do it. I do like the Shadow Fiend versus Shadow Fiend, though. I think that's probably one of the better matchups in general, just because that's really all about how you're able to control the lanes and last hit.
That's one of the better ones. One of the worst ones is Treant versus Treant. Easily the worst, I would have to say. It just doesn't end. It really doesn't.
What if you repeatedly misclick your tower and apply living armor to a creep?
That may be the way it ends. Because otherwise, you just can't siege a tower. It just gets healed up. You guys don't do enough damage on your own. It's just unfortunate. You
would take the game out so long that the game would start spawning like 3 catapults at a time. And eventually your tower would just get like one shot by cannonball fire, but
yeah, that's one's not as ideal. But yeah, I like the idea a lot. And I do want to be kept informed as well. So yeah, let us know. Keep us updates. And who knows? Maybe we'll pop in, say hi, and watch some of the games with you guys. So yeah, let us know. Another couple shout outs I just want to give. Just want to give a shout out to Striker OD. He's the one that let us set that Shay Nomad interview, which if you guys haven't seen yet, you really need to go to our YouTube and check it out. Easily one of the most fun things I know I've personally done on the thing, and that's 94 episodes deep, so that's gonna be pretty good, I'd have to say. But he was such a pleasure to have on, and really cool, down to earth guy. He's going to TI4. If you don't know him, he's been with the GD studio, done a lot of great things, and we were able to interview him on Saturday morning. So go to our YouTube page, do it on demand, and give that a listen or a watch even, and let us know what you think. I think it was the first of many to come, I would say. And honestly, that was one of my next questions. I wanted to pose it out there. If you guys wanted more interviews in the future here, is there anyone in particular you'd like to do? The only other personalities we've done are Sheever, obviously. You, me, and Sheev. I think it was like episode 20-something. And then we had Mott on. I'd like to say pre-fame Mott.
Yeah.
We had him before he was really known, and now that he's blown up, who knows if he'll even give us a second look. But
we gave him the Dota on Demand bump. You know, we helped. We added so many quality viewers that helped facilitate his growth. But no, yeah, you're right. We had a blast with Shane. He was a really cool guy, and we had it. I think it wound up being 45 minutes, like 50 minutes, a really quality interview. Had a lot of like serious questions about him coming up and you know, how he's looking forward to the international, and just like sort of stuff for fun. You know, it was really enjoyable, and not to fire shots at anybody in particular, but I was watching some of the ESL Frankfurt interviews, and like some of them were like almost a tiny bit painful to watch because they were just like weird and like and I don't know. I will say though that like as far as the ESL interviews go, you know, I watched one with Puppy, Udendi, and Chuan, and the one thing that like really struck me from all those is Dendy was like really bummed that they went there and they aren't able to win a game. They get 2-0'd, and he was just like, yeah, it's great like being up in front of all these people, but because in part because it's a single elimination, they didn't even have a shot at the losers bracket. They came there, and he even said, you look out in the crowd and you see all these people with Na'Vi stuff on, and we drop out instantly.
Yeah, that's got to be heartbreaking, not only for the fans, but yeah, as you said, for the players. They were one of the 2 invited teams, them and Alliance, and just getting there and just like you said, getting 2-0'd. I mean, we've been hearing things like, oh, they're not practicing, oh, they're being typical Na'Vi, they're gonna show up to TI though and make this awesome presence, but I don't know if they might at this rate. They really seem that out of practice, and it's not necessarily being out of practice now, but it's the fact that these other teams are really strong competitors this year, like more than we've ever seen before. And I think these other teams are taking it to a whole new level that, you really can't underestimate anyone. Even the people who got their way in from the wild cards, we were talking about that earlier. I think, honestly, pretty much any of them could be strong contenders to make it later in the tournament, too. And now that this format's also less forgiving, if you do worse in the group stages, you're gone. You're cut. And it's really unfortunate. So you really got to put your heart and soul down on the line. We're all going to hope all these teams put a lot of effort into making it work. And I'm sure they will. I mean, 10 million prize pool, I don't think you should take that lightly in any career path possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bet he was feeling a little under the weather after that.
Yeah, and just out of the puppy interview, I mean, I guess just to piggyback off what you're saying, he was saying like they have problems with just like movement and moving around the map and moving efficiently, and people just owning up to their mistakes and the things that they need to fix. And it's kind of strange hearing that from a team that's been together for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can say, you're with somebody all the time. You tend to just, I don't know, that could create friction because you don't have space or anything. But it's not like they're, like jammed into a LAN house or something and always have like super close proximity to one another. So it's kind of disheartening to hear that these guys have been together for so long and are still sort of struggling with those kind of internal issues. But, I guess I'm always a Na'Vi fanboy at heart a little bit. I always want to see them, do well, especially when you consider that, they clearly do care about their fans, like saying in the Dendy interview. He's bummed out that his team wasn't able to perform for the people that came out there to support him. So, but yeah, I go check out the Shane's review. Yes. As you said, Striker OD really pulled through for us there, and it was a lot of fun. Highly recommend it, not just because I had something to do with it.
This time. And just a couple little more quick shout-outs. Samuel Wheeler, he's a long-time listener. Went MIA on us, just saying. But hey, he is back in action. He sends a message saying he returned, realized we were still going. He has over a year's worth of videos to catch up on. So all I have to say is I'm going to charge him with good luck getting all of his videos caught up. He's going to have a wonderful next few weeks of just plenty of podcasts to listen to.
Consider it the Dota On Demand's Compendium Challenge. Watch all of the episodes that you've missed, and we'll give you a pat on the back. So...
Yes, I thought that was rather fun, and I recognize his name right away because, like I said, he's been around for a while. So good to have you back, Samuel. Eleanor Jalen, he messaged us. He was a little late because there was one of the questions of the week was his troll strat, and he decided to provide his. He said it was Legion Commander with Witch Doctor, which anything with Witch Doctor I already am disliking just because I hate that hero with a But I'm not gonna down talk the strat. When it hits 6, Legion Commander goes in and duels, in which Doctor drops the ward, and I'm pretty sure the magic happens then.
The strat is real. That is pretty legit. I mean, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. Like some of these, I feel like, like Tiny Axe. That's like you have to think about that for a second and go, oh yeah. But it's like Legion Commander. It's like this is clearly someone is going to die every minute as soon as that duel comes off cooldown. Yeah, they're not going to make it.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. But those are the current ones. So Yeah, obviously, if you guys would like a shout out, just drop by any Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, any comments, messages. We love to give you guys a little credit out here. So,
Absolutely.
in that note, I'm gonna jump down to. I'm not getting to the good segment yet. Everyone knows that name by now. I'm not getting there yet, though. Could give you a little appetizer right now.
Before the something and the something.
Before the something and the something.
Yeah.
The appetizer today is the patch. Just dropped literally yesterday, Monday, 6:30 in the U.S. So I don't know if your other places what day that was, but here the East Coast was totally June 30th. And the patch actually, it was called Overflowing Compendium or something. Basically, no hero changes, nothing among that. It was more for the experience of the spectating, in-game, some cool things, and then we've gotten a lot more of our Compendium Rewards. Yes!
Compendium Rewards. Mini Pudge, I still can't get rid of Drodo. Sorry.
I know.
You're going to go to the bank, sir. The weather effects, I actually really like the rain effects. Mm-hmm. You mentioned something about the moonlight effects.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. And here's the other thing. I feel like my game was not completely noticeable, but it was I could tell, I guess that's what noticeable means, that there was some extra lag, kind of game lag. Maybe just from my computer. I mean, my computer's fast, but I think it was more particular with the moonlight one. It was kind of cool. There was some glowiness to the heroes and such, but it just... that one wasn't doing it for me as much. I really liked the snow. That was the first one I tried. I thought that was really cool. You said the rain's cool, so I gotta try that one out. But I think, unless I'm mistaken, we're all given the same 3 here. Am I right?
That sounds about right.
Okay, because I was gonna say otherwise. I'm unless you got I can't even think of another. What's another weather?
Sunbeam effect. Put on your
super
shades.
bright.
It's like Cyborg Matt's Nature's Prophet. You just gotta go out in the dark shades. I want to say that I think the Moonbeam effect looked like I was playing in colorblind mode. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was throwing me off a bit. The rain is like that last fight scene from the third Matrix movie where Neo's fighting the one Agent Smith, among a million Agent Smiths.
Yes.
Feels like stuff is about to go down just from the rain effect. I was liking that quite a bit. I think I might actually use that one. I was kind of I was envisioning the seasonal things or the seasonal map changes where it's I'm not really gonna care, but it really kind of fun, neat touch.
Sounds like the rain is what you used for that 1v1 mid tournament.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
And of course, whenever I'm playing Zeus,
well, then everyone dies, right?
Self-explanatory.
Oh yeah, lightning strike. I was kind of thinking about lightning and water and traveling and bears.
Traveling?
Oh my!
Okay.
But yeah, that does make sense. You're quite a smart boy. I agree with the mini Pudge. I did try it on just to see it, but we have that Drodo, and I mean anything you get that's unique like that, I feel like it's hard. People with the Baby Roshan, I mean, are they really gonna not use that over this Pudge courier? I mean, it's cool to use every now to see, and I think it's a nice looking. Well, it's not pretty, but it is a cool looking courier, and apparently a level 50 alternate style as well. But that was unlocked along with chat emoticons. So we're getting into the Facebook Messenger version of Dota now, where we can just drop little pictures. They're actually pretty. I'm going to use the word adorable is what I'm going to use, because they're basically, imagine your little emoticons, your little smiley faces or whatever. So there's the expressions, but it's a hero, and each hero has a different thing. So, for example, Earth Spirit is disappointed, and you see him start frowning. And they do the same action for 3 seconds in the chat. So you get to drop these in your in-game, but also in chat rooms you're in the game. So it's pretty cool. Any favorite emoticons of yours?
I'm always partial to the Crystal Maiden one, just because, I will say that I think that if I was an Earth Spirit player back when he was the broke, I would just kill somebody and then drop that into chat every single time. Just
Earth Spirit's disappointed with you.
Just for the manner, Puck is adorable, and I want it as a pet for real in my house. I want to just snuggle it. Oh, he's so adorable. Look at that little guy. Lark is too. They're actually, some of these heroes should not be adorable, and they just are.
They just are. And no one uses Viper.
Well,
because he's a flying triangle. But yeah, I think that's really cool. I think an alternative way is you can type, it's like colon the word and then colon again. But why wouldn't you just click the little face on the right? I don't know. I guess it's faster for some people. Maybe if you copy paste, you can spam chat all day, like a cool kid. I don't know. I don't want to give too many ideas, but yeah, those are in the game now. Apparently, there's an alternate style for Lieutenant Squawkins, the courier we
Squawky
unlocked earlier. I guess he gets like a boat now or something.
He's going fast, and
I think he may have a knuckle theme. Kashmina Afghan.
It's possible. Cannot confirm or deny.
Haven't checked it yet.
This time.
We will have to get down to it. So, the voice vote, mine's incorrect. Because I have it down to according to my future telling abilities, it's going to be down to either Spectre or Slardar. The 4, though, that's down to, those are 2 of them. I'll put it that way.
Those are definitely 2.
I don't know. Is Juggernaut one of the... I'm not even going to pretend like I know. The thing is, I focused so much on the model that these other ones I've put less emphasis on.
But then you were like, I'm going to name it just so that I can get everyone confused. It's Spectre, PA, Slardar, and Juggernaut.
Oh, I had Juggernaut. I had 3 of 4. That's pretty good.
That ain't bad.
That's passing. 75%. I'd take it. I will take it.
I guess everyone just didn't want Slardar to sweep everything. I mean, I guess he couldn't have gotten an Arcana.
No.
But
I really feel like Arcana and Model, you shouldn't be able to overlap those. Period. Which they won't, apparently. It doesn't look like. Hopefully.
Yeah. I see this. Slardar's voice is, whatever. I'm glad, again, that Juggernaut didn't get to the winners bracket finals, whatever you want to call it, that he didn't get into the finals there. I think Spectre's voice is neat in theory. I just want them to make it fancy. I don't know. I like the backwards speaking. It's just freshen it up a bit. Just like the flying triangle model. Just make it.
Just freshen it. No. Viper needs an overhaul. That's not a freshen up. That's like, give him like a cool shape. Not a triangle anymore. He needs to be like a rhombus or something.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my SAT word of the day. I probably couldn't even tell you what it is, but I like the word. So, moving along here quickly, there's other things unlocked in the compendium which you all should go do. I think you have about 6 days to enter your predictions, playoff predictions. So there's a few questions like what's the most kills in one game in the playoffs? And then there's how many ally denies, similar to the questions we've answered before for the qualifiers. And then, of course, the top 6 predictions. You get to choose who you think are going to be, and in their place, the top 6. And of course, 5 and 6 are tied for 5th. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then tied for 5th. But apparently, if you just get the 6 teams right, you get a bajillion points. And if you get the right order, you get a bajillion times infinity points.
That's a big number.
It probably is. Yes. Have you filled your Zen yet? I'm assuming no.
No, I have not yet. It's on my to-do list. I have to say, I have been having a lot of fun with the compendium. And, we forgot, or didn't forget, we just haven't talked about the favorite hero stat tracker, which I think is a really cool thing. Showing you, how you're able to, at what rate you're able to get certain items. And I know, we've talked about this a little bit outside of the cast, but just it's weird. It doesn't always apply sometimes. I was noticing, I made Lone Druid mine because he's a hero that I really enjoy, but I also can see making, improvements in the more I play him. Sometimes I'm I'm going to go Maelstrom first. Sometimes I'm you know what? Maybe I'll try to, finish my Trank Boots first so I can get the regen going, get some armor up. So, you are able to add those game tags to sort of give you a better look at exactly the conditions of the game and compare those against one another. But, I think it's actually a really cool tool. And to be honest, I'm a little sad that you can only do it for one hero ever. I think this would be really cool if it was something that you could set up for a hero, and then maybe, it'll record all this information, but then if you want to, you could switch it to a different hero, and maybe that resets all the information. It doesn't save it for the first hero, but if you were able to move it around, I think it'd be really neat, because my initial thought was like, oh, I'll pick like Crystal Maiden or something. This would be a terrible tool for Crystal Maiden, and I didn't really appreciate that when I was making the decision. So I'm glad I picked Lone Druid. Also, if you win 10 games with your favorite hero, you get some nice compendium points. So be sure to go out there and do that.
Yeah, I feel like I dropped the ball.
You did.
I did.
I don't know what in reference to specifically, but
oh, I just know a ball was dropped in your court. That's all I know. No, I chose the Windranger as mine, and originally I thought, oh, favorite hero. Windranger's kind of my favorite hero. Yeah, I'll pick her. And then I wasn't really thinking in depth of what this tool actually does. And like he described, it kind of lets you see how you're doing in comparison to other games. You can choose specific items that it tracks and lets you know when you bought those items in other games. I'm not saying it's not great for her, but it's definitely, I feel like, in my opinion, it's way more ideal for heroes that go really consistent builds. And also are in a very consistent role. That way, I understand you have the tags, and that does help. But at the same time, and this is just, like I said, this is more personal than probably in general. But I feel like if I was, let's say, Nature's Prophet offlane every time, then I'm pretty much going to do the same thing in most of those games. And I can really get a really great comparison amongst all those games on that hero.
I don't know. I think I disagree. Just because Nature's Prophet is you just use that example, but that's a hero where I feel like you could just do crazy off the wall stuff depending on what you needed in that game. But you're probably only going to wind up playing him in solo off lane or jungle or maybe something weird, and you wind up going mid.
I think that was literally the worst example I could have used. I think I meant Lone Druid or something. Any other hero that goes more of a consistent item build. I understand any hero can go any build item, okay? But Centaur, how about that? Centaur is pretty damn consistent in all his items. He should be, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think Windranger, for your situation it might not work out, but I actually think that's a really great hero for this, because if I go mid, you might always do, Boots, Maelstrom, and then you might vary from there. But if you're off lane, it's going to be Force Staff into whatever else you might go. That's going to be your baseline item, and maybe the tracker only gives you your Force Staff time for that, because you might go something random and weird outside of that. But, all in all, I think for me, the point is that this is a really cool, neat way to get you engaged in a hero. And all the times we've done these hero challenges, we've come out of them wow, we learned a lot about this hero that we maybe wouldn't have realized randomly picking them here, randomly picking them there. And so now you have the same sort of thing with this favorite hero, where you're building up a baseline of information where it might not be back-to-back, but because you have all the stats, you go, well, that's interesting that I always finish this item around this time. I wonder what I can do to change that or what have you.
No, it definitely is an amazing tool. And I think other people, if you haven't chosen your hero, I'd suggest you do it and think about a hero that you're going to play a lot to get a lot of, data input, I guess is the best way to put it. You don't want to hear that you play 3 times and be like, oh, well, I'm above my average of one game. That's not going to be too useful. But it's definitely interesting. And we'll see if they try to keep that or carry it over beyond the international. It'd be cool if they could try to keep that something for players to help themselves out and improve. There were a few other features before we finish up this segment that were added that I think were actually pretty cool. First of all, in live games, there's a live rewind feature for spectators, which is League of Legends will never have this feature. But or maybe they do and I just don't care. But it basically lets you pause, rewind, or jump forward to what's live. So awesome. You could just jump into any game, and it's almost like your TiVo on your TV. You're like, oh, I want to go grab a drink, pause, come back. Oh, I'm watching an international game. pause, go eat lunch, come back. Here it is. I mean, oh, it's so beautiful.
I was gonna make the joke. You don't even have to set up your DVR. You and your wit and your sharpness getting there ahead of me.
There.
I have to agree with you. And I think the other great thing about this is there are just fights that don't make sense. And when you watch a game, like if you really want to get in depth and you want to figure out what happened, then maybe you watch a game a couple times. You wait till the VOD's released. But like think of The Play, right? That's a team fight that should not, under any circumstances, except for the one that it did happen, happen. And you go back and you can pick so many tiny things out of that one little fight that completely changed the way that game went. And obviously, it's The Play. And I've never seen a play that has been more crazy than that to date, in my opinion. So the fact that you can now, if you see something like that, you go, what the F just happened? Back up, check it out, watch it again, and you can sort of take a critical look at something while you're still trying to enjoy it. You don't have to sort of, I guess, make the choice between one or the other.
Exactly. No, I think you don't have to wait till it's a replay in order to watch it. You can, yeah, exactly. Bring it back, do it again. Oh, it's so cool. So really nice feature. Got to check that out. Also, a cool couple things while you're in the game that I actually already noticed when I was playing last night. They added gold border to the top bar, all the heroes. So basically, if a teammate can buy back when dead, there's a gold border around them. So now you just know. Really nice to have that. Also, if you place your cursor over an ultimate diamond in the top bar, it'll show you its cooldown.
This is some next level stuff, and I don't even know. I didn't even realize that. That's awesome.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have looked for it before because it didn't exist. But I just kind of looked up. I'm like, oh, what's that?
I mean, there's some other things too. I feel like that just have added a really nice level of polish to the game, like the hero loadout being nice and shiny. When you're loading into the game, going down the river and looking at different parts of the map, like just a lot of small things I feel like really add to the spectator quality of the game, even when it's you yourself playing, or just those nice little aesthetic things that you don't necessarily appreciate until you see the disparity between one versus the other.
Absolutely. So, anyways, that's kind of wrapping up the patch. Like I said, there was no hero change. There was all these compendiums / in-game changes, but all really cool things. And it's nice to get these compendium rewards actually put in the game, so we're going to have them good to go. Actually, I believe I was watching a little bit of Cyborg Matt doing his stream party, and he was just showing off the Goblin Techies model in the game with the little cart and the little wooden mortar, ridiculous. Oh, it was very interesting. So that we already knew it was happening from the Compendium unlock, but it's like pretty much ready to go. So it might not even take a month after the International to release that hero. Who knows what's going to happen?
I mean, honestly, $10 million, maybe you just give the people what they want and you stay up late a night or two. Maybe, I don't know, you crack the whip on those hero designers because they clearly have made more than enough money off this thing and could facilitate the quick release of techies. Honestly, I'm really surprised that it's taken so long at this point to get the rest of the heroes into the game. I have to imagine that the heroes that haven't been added are because they're interested in maybe bringing balance to them or changing them a little bit before they come in. Maybe they're just putting their focus elsewhere, and I guess that's fine too, but you gotta hope by next International that we have all the heroes in the game. There really aren't that many left. It's been a long time. Well, I guess it really hasn't been a super long time since we've gotten a new hero to play with, but it's I guess just that little last bit of bringing the game to full completion and really getting to say that that you have that full transfer from Dota 1 to Dota 2, and this is the thing to take off with. So, I mean, as weird as I feel about having techies in the game, I guess I like it for the fact that it's one step closer to being fully into Dota 2.
I mean, I understand why Oracle is not in the game. I understand, although they got Earth Spirited, he was released at the same time. Abyssal Underlord, aka Pit Lord, Volvo, please. But yeah, I mean, I have to imagine, like you said, by next international, there's only 5 left, and Techies we know is getting in the game, so really 4. Arc Warden, Winter Wyvern, Abyssal Underlord, Oracle, and Techies. So, I mean, it shouldn't be too tough, I feel like. And, put them in the game. Just do what you're doing with Phoenix and other heroes, and just don't put them in CM yet. That's fine. But just get them in the game so we can play with them, get kind of used to them. And I'm really excited to try out most of these heroes.
Yeah.
With the exception of Arc Warden. That's your hero. But, these other ones I'm really excited to try out. So, yeah, I think that'll be really cool once they get that done.
That's the other thing, too. I mean, just looking at these heroes that are left, I feel like all have maybe something wonky or something that you'd want to figure out. I mean, you just look at Abyssal Underlord's a great example of this hero that's just been regularly changed in Dota 1. He's had his abilities manipulated several times in the recent history of the Dota 1 patch logs. So, maybe not interested in bringing a hero into Dota 2 and then making dramatic adjustments to them. They want to release polished, finished heroes. That's fine, I guess. Winter Wyvern's had some changes. Oracle, OP probably, from what they say. And I don't know. Arc Warden, I obviously haven't gotten to play him, but I've had some change of heart just from looking at some other heroes in the game, and I'm not even really sure if I'm going to be that excited about him when he comes out. It's been so long that I'm just over it. I'm on to the next one. He's not even here. Sad. So sad.
Well, I think we'll survive for now, but yeah, I think that's all really cool. God, I think that's pretty much it from the patch, though. I think it's finally time. The appetizer course is done.
I gotta say, I am so glad there are no hero changes, because we would be here till midnight.
And I know, we haven't even made it to the meat and potatoes yet. It has to be emphasized. Everyone loves it by now. Everyone except you loves it. Trust me.
Yes.
Trust me. I know about so many things, like those votes and everything, so we're good. Mm-hmm. Meat and potatoes. This week, as we've been alluding to on the Facebook, Twitter, everywhere, we're going to kind of discuss our personal anecdotes, our exploits in the Dota 2 pub games, what we've been experiencing over these past couple weeks, some ups, some downs, some in the middles, all arounds. Catch me if you can.
Yeah. I would like to start this off by saying it first, and I don't want to reference the Shaynomad interview to the point that it's not worth watching. There's plenty of great stuff there, but one thing that he really said, or that I took to heart from, I guess, looking into more about Shaynomad, was just that he really was about having fun with playing the game, and he talked about playing with people all over the board at different skill level, and really that's how he sort of started to build up a community base, was just off of trying to get people together to learn and to have fun playing, even if they weren't at a high skill level. Really finding the fun of playing the game without winning. And I know, me personally, winning is really fun, and losing not so much. So, when we started this, I was like, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to have fun with this. I'm not going to stress out about it. I would really like it if everybody could not rage. Let's just go out there, and if the game sucks, find a way to make it fun. Find the funny things to do, go crazy with it, and try to enjoy it. And I gotta say, it actually really helps me. I feel like perspective for everything in life is so important, and it's kind of interesting to me just how changing that up and really trying to force myself to look at the game a different way, it felt more like a game than, me trying to be on that next level in my 3 to 4K MMR.
Instead of us just pouring our frustrations in life into this game and trying to get some kind of satisfaction out of it. I agree with you, and I was starting to take it under my wing too. I mean, it is a lot about perspective, and we know we're not pro players. I mean, it's hard to know that sometimes with the way we play, but we know mentally what I almost said it with a straight face, but I mean, you just have to enjoy it. Like we said, at the end of the day, it is a game, for us at least. For some people it's a career, and then they can't do quite the same that we can, but we should just take it with stride. Just say, okay, you know what, we lost this one really hard, but did we have fun? Did we get to try something different? Or just kind of go with the flow. And it's not every game. I mean, we've been on those streaks where we've lost 8 games in a row. Those are hard. But you're gonna come back in a game or two, and you're gonna probably end up stomping the other team. I mean, these things it's a back and forth. That's how it goes. But at the end of the day, it does really getting yourself in that mindset, in that good mood mentality. Really does help not only yourself, but everyone you play with seems to kind of rise up because of it as well. You kind of bring up that spirit. And if you have someone that's really negative or bringing you down, I would suggest just kind of telling them to cool off. And, if they're just consistently in that way, honestly, if it's bringing you down, I would suggest just trying to avoid it. I mean, I'm not saying don't play with your friends.
Punch them straight in the face. That's the solution.
That might not be going along the same lines as what we're trying to convey here. But, Shane Ahmad, and I've been watching his stream a lot too, and it is, no matter what situation the game is, he and his friends are just laughing and having a great time because they don't care about at the end of the day, they don't care. They just want to play the game and have fun.
Yeah, I mean, one of the videos on his stream that I really liked, it was like an all melee lineup or something, and they, it's so easy, I feel like, for people to just go like, oh, we lost it as a draft, we're like, there's any point playing, I hate myself, I'm gonna go cut in a corner. No, just how about you play it out and you have just like a positive outlook on it, you try to have fun with it, and you try to make the best of it. Because there have definitely been games where I'm like, we are so screwed. We played one of them, actually. I'm like, how are we supposed to win this? I picked Drow Ranger. They picked people that were great at jumping on top of Drow Ranger and shutting her down, closing that gap, destroying her ultimate buff. And then we picked people that would also be completely destroyed by their lineup after they chose it. And we killed it. Oh, and it was like, I'm looking at this, I'm like, this is going to be so painful, but, let's do it. And like I said, we wound up winning the game convincingly. And, it was fun all along, even in the parts where you're like, is this the way that, do we have to do something different? Is it going to work out? Even when it was close, we were, still able to have fun with it. But I gotta say, too, one thing that I really wanted to talk about and get your opinion on is, after seeing Admiral Bulldog's Blink, Nature's Prophet, my eyes were opened. The sun was so much brighter. The birds
it's that
just
effect
chirped.
That you put on your global thing. That's what it is. The solar beam effect.
That's true, the effect. Yes, I actually have not seen the sun in quite a long time. But anyway, and then also Trixie playing Veenomancer and getting Blink Dagger on him, which is something that I honestly was kind of just like against wholeheartedly for a really long time. And the game that I played as Drow, I actually wanted to play at support, which don't worry, we're going to get into later, Jay. Wound up having to go carry, went the Isama build. It was really cool just playing all these heroes that I typically, like at first glance, would not have said, yeah, go Blink Dagger. And it's kind of neat getting to see them recast for their ability to split push and gang people. I mean, have you done much in terms of Blink Dagger shenanigans with heroes that maybe you didn't expect it to be good on, or the aforementioned 3 heroes?
I haven't dabbled personally. I've seen the benefits of the Nature's Prophet before. I mean, we discussed it in the pro scene, but also in the pub scene. I think it's such a great alternative to Shadowblade. I can see the perks of both for sure, but either way, you have a really great way to kind of hide out from enemies if you're trying to split push. Also initiate if you do eventually get something like a Sheepstick or Orchid or anything like that. It's a great way because obviously Nature's Prophet, not the fastest hero and not really, besides Teleport, not the most mobile hero. And I'm not going to count that for what I'm trying to talk about here for skirmishes. So I think it's actually really impressive. But you have to know, I feel like it could be situational. There were some situations, for example, we were playing and B-Dun got a Blink Dagger as a Split Nature's Prophet, but he was against an Anti-Mage. I almost would have liked the Shadowblade more in that case, because the Anti-Mage will just blink right after you. You really can't outrun the Anti-Mage. Shadowblade, though, he would have had to carry Dust or a Gem himself, and the odds of him doing that are very slim to none. So that's a situation I'm like, okay, Shadowblade probably would have been a better alternative. But, those are kind of the questions you have to pose to yourself as you're getting into the game, and I really like it on him. Veenomancer, I've always thought was a great item on him, honestly. It's just that it's so much better now that he has no mana issues because of the blink. Like, now that it's free, he doesn't worry about struggling with ultimating and galing at the same time, because I know that was of trouble in the past. 75 mana was not a luxury before, but now you can afford it. And his main purpose, he's kind of like a Tide Hunter, where you need to hit as many people as possible with that ultimate, and then you've pretty much done your job.
Yeah, I wound up doing a lot of split pushing with it, which
you were like a nature's prophet.
I was. It's actually not as effective, and it turns out that the enemies are pretty decent at figuring out where you are when random wards get spit into the lane from the trees. But the point is that on only a 50-second cooldown on Boots of Travel, you can blink your way up the tree line, throwing out wards, pushing the lane, relative safety. I will also say that the Blink Dagger Nature's Prophet games I was playing, one of them was just like, they had Zeus. Clockwork was like, I think there was, a Codal during the daytime that was just like hidden, like hiding inside of them, infested. Or like there's a 6-man Bloodseeker. This man was just like, you're right there, hook shot, now you're dead. And no, I totally agree with you. The Shadowblade thing, I was kind of over it, like after seeing the Blink Dagger, but just because, it's really easy to counter, and it's, all you need is the dust, and you're pretty much going to be able to handle somebody. But if you're able to force people into buying dust, that's sort of creating space in and of itself, and
late game especially. Supports are trying to hold those bracers, they're trying to hold those new items, force staff, whatever. They're trying to get wards and dust now. It's a lot to juggle for these heroes. So yeah, you're really forcing them to not maybe have that bracer they had before. It's something else that, I'm not saying always Shadowblade, neither of us are, but what you should just consider, I feel like, the game, and like you said, you're against a Clockwork, and you're against these heroes that are going to jump on you real easily. Blink Dagger, doing squat. It's not going to help you at all. Shadowblade, maybe it could. Maybe it could give you that chance. So, yeah, definitely something interesting.
I also have to say that the Blink Dagger choice that I didn't make this week that I really wish I had was I played Lone Druid against Tinker on 2 separate occasions. One was awful because he went E-Blade Dagon, and my bear basically had one shot to entangle him before he was able to refresh the E-Blade effect to make him unable to be attacked, and would just be able to beat the crap out of people because he had gotten so far ahead, snowballed so out of control. But I did in that game go Radiance to stop the Blink Dagger, or to stop the Blink Dagger on Tinker. This other one, I didn't go it, and then I was also thinking, wouldn't it be great if you put Radiance on the bear, Blink Dagger on the bear, so that you can definitely get the jump on them and deactivate the Blink Daggers? That's pretty much the next level. I'm going to let Admiral Bulldog have that one. I want to see it 4 to 20 times at the International. Wait till you get into the the brackets before you actually do it, because you don't want to give up such an amazing strat in the group stages. It's that's really the most sense I think a Blink Dagger on a bear can get, and I didn't seize the day.
I know. I was just remembering that game being like, man, just imagine Radiance right now. Just imagine it. Because we were like against like 3 Blink Daggers or something. I'm like, oh, this would have been beautiful. And yeah, the Blink Dagger would have just amplified it, man. It would have just been the perfect drop. Probably perfect is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, one day, dude. One day you're going to do the Blink Bear. You're going to man up and do the Blink Bear. I'm looking forward to it. And now that I know you can get a mana pool on a bear, which I honestly didn't know ever. Not that I play Lone Druid on any basis. I was going to say consist on any basis I don't. But that's really cool. You could do... God, there's so many possibilities, man. So many possibilities.
See, I always knew that you could give him items that gave, like, mana capacity, and that would give him mana. But also from the Shane Ahmed interview, he was saying he likes going Soul Ring Mask of Madness on the bear. And I didn't realize that using that active would give you mana to use.
I didn't either. Shane, genius. Everyone really has to watch this interview, is what we're trying to say. We probably already referenced it 4 times this episode, so get over. Well, not right now. Get over there after this episode and give it a listen and watch, because we're all pretty, of course, including Joe. So, anyways, yes, I don't know where that was all going, but I'm gonna just suddenly make a sharp left turn here and change the subject a bit.
Straight into a wall.
J4Y, pretty much, finished his... Wow, I'm reading off this chart. I guess I'm talking about myself here. I finished my Windranger series, the challenge that was given to me. Took a few weeks to do 5 games, but I did it nonetheless.
I learned that I have to be very specific in right hero challenge so that you cannot contest mid-challenge what the parameters of the challenge are.
Yeah, we need a formal document, like a legal document with signatures and everything. Because I guess I construed it a little bit. I still played Windranger, that's what's important. And I played her 5 times. So, in my mind, pretty good. I also always had the intention to go right-click Aghanim's build. The games were not always pretty, unfortunately. And when you play 5, you could get a very small sample pool. Who knows how those 5 games are going. I ended up 2 and 3. Not my best days. I thought it was going to be worse than that, actually. So I'm glad 2 and 3 actually sounds nice to me, to be honest. I learned a couple of things I'd like to share with everyone. And you can feel free to counter. Because I know you will.
Counter.
I'm sure you will. Now, I only played middle probably 3 of those 5 games. But one of them matched up against Lark middle. And one of my first notes is that Lark is really good against Windranger one-on-one.
Are you sure that you're not good against Lark one-on-one? I mean, I get it, right? He pounces you as soon as you Windrun. He gets to do the purge and do a lot of damage. I get it. That's tough.
I was able to harass, right? And I mean, like, okay, the first 4 levels, you could say I was winning. But as soon as he basically hit 6, it was over. He could... Any harassment I ever did, he just went up the hill, and he was full health. He could gank lanes amazingly. You know, I could try to, but if I did lay my shackle, it's essentially a failed gank. It just wasn't going beautifully. And I did do some ganking, I remember, and it was somewhat successful. But at the end of the day, I mean, Lark is one of those heroes, too, that just... He's pretty brutal. Like I said, especially when he hits 6. Because once you get that regen, and you can go invis for whatever, pretty difficult to deal with. So anyways, that game did not go well for us.
Was it a Slink?
It was not. No, it wasn't even a Shadow Blade. He didn't really do anything. He went like
it needed, apparently.
He went like Scotty, and it was disgusting.
Real items is like strange.
Like drums or something. I don't know. Something awful, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you don't go Blink or Shadow Blade on him, then I don't want to talk to you right now. That's all I have to say. Yeah.
Just right now, though.
Just right now. Okay. Later, maybe we'll talk later. But anyways, so that didn't go so well. I did have some fun matchups though. I was against a Razor. Did really well against Razor. That one though was interesting. That's probably not every single time when Windranger does well against Razor. I could see it going both ways, but you didn't really get any tether damage. Not tether. I always call it tether. The static link. I think of IO all the time, apparently. They're the same thing, pretty much. No, but he couldn't really get in range. I mean, Windranger's a pretty good ranged hero. You know, he's got a pretty nice attack range. The power shot's obviously super far. And she's got the phase boost, the wind run. It's pretty easy for her to do a lot of damage from far. So Razor was a pretty good matchup for me. I had some good matchups all around, but I only got to go Maelstrom a couple times. I think that was the biggest disappointment for me. I know you were so devastated.
Me too.
But here's the thing. You really focused on Aghanim's, and I'm going to go watch the thing again to make sure that you did, because I'm almost positive you focused on me going an Aghanim's build, which I always tried to do.
My only problem with that argument of yours is that one of the games you were like, I was going auto attack build. I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, Jay, you had a 4-staff, and then they dropped Divine Rapier and you picked it up. I don't think that constitutes an auto attack build. I think they
best one in the game at that point.
They gifted you a Rapier. Other than that, you're just a Windranger. I don't, but I mean, we won.
We did. And it's because I went the 4-staff, to be honest. But in that game, and that's the hard part, is like you want to do these builds. Like you've heard about those. God, there's some website where you go to it. You select a hero, and it gives you, like, a random build that someone created. and you have to do that build your next game, whatever. That's kind of, I feel like, what you're trying to make me think I should have done, is just no matter what, go Maelstrom Oghanims this game. And that I would not have been 2-3, I'll tell you that right now. That would probably have been 0-5 if I had done that. I would have loved to, in theory. I love the idea of her right-clicking people down with the Oghanims and Maelstrom and just blowing up people. But unfortunately, Force Staff is so good on her in most cases that it's hard not to get it. But I did my best. I got Oghanims, I think, in 3 of the games, so that was pretty cool. We do need to discuss now that game where you just mentioned, the Divine Rapier game. We were down, I can't remember the kills. We were down 2 lanes. I definitely know that much.
Yeah.
Their Phantom Assassin had purchased a Divine Rapier and was in our base by himself. Basically 2-shotting everyone on the team. Fortunately for me, I had Windrun, which is 100% evasion. So I was like, hey, what's up? I will fight you. And me and another ally killed him. I picked up that Divine Rapier. At the same time, finished my MKB, because I got about 1,200 gold, or whatever the ridiculous number was from his streak. And from the rest of the game, just simply went on PA, ulted him, and he was dead in 2 seconds flat. It was one of the best comebacks I think I've played in a while.
It was very good. They failed to kill Roshan, which was strange with the Divine Rapier, but let's not nitpick. Let's focus on the positives. Yeah, it was a good game. It was a lot of fun. I feel like a big part of the Windranger challenge in its original intention was that I think to get that like right click build, and we talked before the show. I'm like, let's try like a tri-lane Windrunner. Like, let's see if you give her complete free farm, she's able to get like a Maelstrom up really fast, or whatever item you want to go really fast. What kind of impact is she able to have? I feel like in that middle lane she does pretty well against, I'd say, most matchups. I feel like she could stand up against a lot of heroes just because she's able to run quickly away. The Lark, if he's able to hold you there and then do magic damage on top of you, that's tough. Yeah, I got it. If you're able to gank with a lot of magic damage, sure, I understand. But she's able to get in that lane, she's able to farm effectively, and because she's a quick hero, you're able to move around, assist the other lanes if you need to, or if your mid hero you're against is off ganking, you can just go, well, I got rapid fire, yes, focus fire, and rapid at level 6, so I'm just going to focus fire their tower down, and really almost like a death prophet where you're just able to punish them for moving away from the lane if they choose to. So, I would advise you keep an open mind to the middle Windranger, and I think like the middle Windranger Maelstrom, I feel like is like 90% of the time what I would wind up doing, unless you really did need a quick mech, or you really did need like a quick Force Staff, unless you're up, if you're up against certain matchup.
Here's a counter proposal. Well, it's similar.
Accepted.
Wow,
next.
That was it.
Okay.
Because I just told you to pay for my dinners for the next month, so thank you. I watched Merlini's stream a lot too, late at night. He plays Windranger occasionally, and he almost always gets hand to Midas. Middle, off lane, just gets hand to Midas. What do you think about that? I want to. Feel like I want to. I love experience on most heroes. I love leveling up, getting the extra stats and everything else. But obviously attack speed, not that great for her. I mean, obviously the focus fire will do just that for a single target. You really want, that's the reason you go phase boots, is so you can get that right click damage to last hit with better, and also the speed. It just feels like, I don't know, it feels like that gold might have been better used elsewhere.
It almost kind of reminds me of again, apparently Admiral Bulldog is on my mind, but he actually made a statement not too long ago where he was like, you should never go Midas on Nature's Prophet. And this was almost immediately after having played a game where he went Midas on Nature's Prophet. And it was almost seemed like a cheeky thing to say at the time. But then I feel like after that, every time I saw him play Nature's Prophet, it was the Maelstrom Blink Dagger build. And And like we had mentioned it before, it's like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool because the Maelstrom helps you split push, and you're going to be doing that with a Blink Dagger. It also increases your farm rate, so why are you building an item that sets you behind if you can get something else that gives you maybe not the same effect, a diminished effect, but doesn't put you behind? I feel that way about Windrangers too. Like, I guess, yeah, you can get a Midas and you get your levels up and you can get items, and she's a great hero with items like a sheep stick, or if you had to go for an attack damage build, that's cool. But at the same time, it's also, she can do just fine with absolutely nothing. If you're able to land a great shackle shot, then you've kind of done your job. You're able to pump out the deeps with the power shot. So I don't like.
Yeah, that's why I wanted your opinion, because I get it. I get it on pretty much every hero. I mean, like, I don't actually get it. I understand why people desire it on a lot of heroes, but I feel like for her case specifically, it just doesn't call out to me in that regard. Because
I just think, like, I don't know, the Crystal Maiden, you get like if you're able to get like a super quick Midas, like I'll still do that if I'm able to get one fast enough, even though it's not the meta. Just because like a Blink Dagger, I feel like can completely change the game for you, and being able to get more points in Arcane or up faster has an effect that maybe you can't necessarily quantify, but overall gives your team just more potential to make plays.
Yeah. And
getting the levels up, I feel like is important on her. Whereas Windranger, it's like, what are you really getting for levels? Shackle shot bumped up. I guess you're getting items, so your focus fire is hitting harder. I don't know. I feel like you're not getting as much out of it.
No. I mean, you get the stats too, but yeah, it's not really as vital. It's not as crucial, I agree. Like getting the difference between a level 2 and level 1 focus fire is not game changing. A level 2 and level 1 Tidehunter ult could be pretty devastating. I mean, there's definitely differences in those as well. So
Tide Midas, new meta. You heard it here first, folks.
Ooh, I like it. I'm down. I'm down as a clown.
Well, I guess we know what your next challenge is, Jay.
Be a clown.
100 games of Tidehunter Midas.
God. Now, can I get the BKB, Force Staff, and Blink before the Midas? Is that kind of what we're talking about here?
I would honestly, I think it'd be hilarious to do I've seen this before too, and I actually thought it was really funny. Movement speed Tidehunter, so you get like Yules, Yasha. I don't know if he got Tranks or bots. It was a ridiculous game, but he just got everything that would give him movement speed, and got as close to 522 without a haste as humanly possible. And it was enough, right? Like that's pretty good. Like, yeah, they can stun you on the way in or slow you, but he was able to make it work for himself. So that would be hilarious. I feel like
that's something. That's definitely something. I would say
thing.
It's okay. It's like a worse version of Tiny, essentially. We played some other games, and I think it's funny. I must really like to punish myself, or I'm just secretly a god at support.
It's not that.
Okay, well then I guess it's the first.
Yes.
As soon as I finish my challenge, I'm like, oh, freedom, Matt! I get to do whatever I want. Pick any of the 100+ heroes. Look at me go. What do? I play 3 support heroes in a row.
Jakiro, Crystal Maiden, what was the third? Oh, Lion.
Fishman.
He
made Fishmen. He was not a Fishman himself. I have the immortal item, and it's beautiful. But, yes, Jakiro, Lion, and Crystal Maiden. Daily done. Crystal Maiden. Yeah, so am I just a glutton for punishment?
Some sort of masochist, I think. The problem is, now, I can't fault you, I have to say.
Too many Owie games recently. I don't know.
I played a Jakiro game recently myself that was kind of fun. It could have gone better, but I enjoyed it. In the spirit of watching Owie and, building the Yules and Aghanims and craziness, dropping macro pyres on creep waves. We're in a game, we're getting ready to start, and before when you were in the call, I mentioned, dude, support Drow. I bet it's real. Let's try it. Beaton actually plays it. It goes terribly wrong. Not necessarily his fault. The game was just not conducive to his success. Jay is out of the call now, drops it, talking to his lady, I imagine.
Probably.
I haven't talked to a woman in, I don't know, 4 years, let's say. So, I can't fault the guy, right? But so I'm like, Instalock, Drow, support, I'm gonna do it. All Jay has to do, pick a carry, we're gonna have a tri-lane of Destiny. It's gonna be glorious. We still have to do this week, the troll strat of the week that I'm gonna run is a sniper, Drow, and I feel like Axe could be hilarious. Axe always seems to be like just an amazing third. Striker OD said Vengeful Spirit. That might actually just have to be what we do.
That would be ridiculous. Yes.
What could go wrong? Because it's like if they don't focus you, well, guess what? You have your ultimate. You're doing just fine damage. If they do, you're a support. Who cares? It's pretty much glorious, and you had to ruin it by picking Fishman.
The man who makes fish.
The man who makes fish. Pardon me.
You may have called him Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have went there. I'm sorry. It just made itself. Okay, so...
Well, wait. To hell and back. So he kind of did that.
He did die, and then he came back.
He came back.
But why did he go to hell? All right, we're not going to get into a religious conversation here. I did. I picked him... I was confused. Maybe being on the call would have helped. Maybe it would have... I'm like, oh, Drow. And we had Drow, we had Sniper. I was like, all right, we need a support. I'm going to go Lion. I want to make fish. I would love to create some fish. And
a couple of loaves, maybe.
A couple of loaves on the sides and some wine. I mean, who knows? Let's have a party. And, yeah.
It's okay. I wound up crushing it.
We stomped that game. We stomped it wholeheartedly.
It was a blink Mask of Madness.
And I just remember you throughout probably the second half of the game. Just many deep sighs and just disappointments and saying, I think we literally agreed. You said it was the most disappointing Drow victory you've ever had.
It was the most disappointing, just complete raffle stomp. Like, that's the game where, like, I was blinking in, I was, like, just killing people and yada yada, running around. It was like, you would think it would be, you'd have a ball, but it was the most depressing victory ever, because I know that there's just no way that the support Drow is going to live up to that. I mean, I have to hope. I have to dream, right?
It could. With Vengeful, I think there's a chance. I think there's a good chance. So you're kind of hoping like a Mirana support, where, except you're horrible at ganking. But you have potential to semi-carry late game, I guess.
And you're going to go Blink Dagger, clearly. So you have some initiation. You have a silence. You got slow. I will say that, actually, and then here's the other part, right? Carry Vengeful Spirit's going to go Aghanim Scepter. So when someone blinks on you to cancel your ultimate, she swaps. You get your damage back. You both go ham. Everything dies. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work. Until I'm convinced otherwise.
That's probably the perfectest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I do have to say, though, in going off of the troll strategies that definitely have to work, we did prove that Axe, Skywrath Mage, and Zeus is real. It is the greatest thing you have ever seen in your life. We crushed it again. Me, it was Magic Man, and I forget who our axe was. B-Done, I think, was the axe, and it was nasty. And what's even better is that it could have been even better. Like, we could have scouted with the lightning bolt. Like, we hadn't fully grasped all of the capabilities of the Zeus and the ability to just, like, ooh, drop a lightning bolt. Oh, we see him. Axe can blink in and taunt him. What's up? They're dead. Laying down the spell that I keep wanting to call Arcane Barrage, which is not correct ever, but I still call it that. Anyway, it was pretty amazing. It was everything I dreamed of and more. And just the success of that troll strategy makes me want to try some more.
Mystic Flare.
By Calvin Klein.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, I'm glad it was successful, because if it wasn't, you would have never done it again. So now I get to look forward to that in future games, I'm sure. More Zeus support. Can't go wrong with it, probably.
I still dig it.
If you want a superior counter warder, okay. That's it. That's all I got.
A jillion damage.
He is a jillion. That's why you play him mid. So he does jillion damage times 2 with Refresher. So
it's actually, I feel like, what's the comparison I want to make here? It's almost like the opposite. No, it's like for most support heroes, it's like you could play a lot of support heroes middle and they would do just fine. Played with Alina that went middle and there was some, let's say, less than friendly team chat towards the idea. But you know what? They went beat KBs and she went Aghanim Scepter. Guess who won? And, it's like Zeus still does way too much damage with the Lightning Bolt, with the static fields. Even if he's in a support role, yeah, he might be lacking the levels, so it's not optimal damage that he could be doing. But I feel like if you have a lot of control out of your other party members, like if, the axe with the taunt, as well as the slow and the silence from Skywrath Mage, like, he can turn on the hate.
You could go just like 8 clarity potions like your middle, but your support. So
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do. You do.
You kind of have
That's
to.
the thing.
Because you'll be out of mana like a hawk on Sunday. I don't know. But I had nothing else. I really didn't.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine, though. So, I'm glad to hear that worked. It seems like a lot of our strats worked, except for Jay playing Windranger. Yeah, good times.
We need a new one, is I think the...
We do. Well, not for me, though. This is for you, right?
I mean, I'm lining up my own troll strats here. I mean, I got to try this tri-lane out. I'll take one. I mean, you guys out there, go ahead and submit whatever you want. We will gladly oblige if it is crazy and hilarious.
It could even involve the two of us. We've done together in the past. Together forever.
On camera.
What?
And
but, yeah, that was not awkward. Yeah, but I don't know. Because like I was saying, that it'd be cool to do the AZ thing together, but there's no way. I mean, if it took me 2 weeks to play 5 games, I think that would take literally until the next international to do half of it. So, but yeah, any other cool ideas? We're down. I'd love to try. Whatever. I'm game. I'm free. Remember, so I can play as many supports as I want. It's perfectly great. Finally, I think we're ready to move on to the What the Nuts. The What the Nuts segment here.
See, this is a segment with a really good name. I'm just going to throw that out.
It also involves a food, though. So you're not really far off from mine, to be honest. It's just a question instead. Or, anyways, I wanted to lead off with really important thing that Valve actually was kind enough to clear the air over. The whole Fnatic situation and how they handled it. Because there's been a lot of pitchforks, a lot of Volvo
Torches.
factories getting burned down, many hazards, many problems. For those who don't know, Fnatic has been having roster issues. I mean, if you've watched any recent tournaments, you've known that Excalibur's been subbing in. What you may not know is that Era was sitting out due to mental health issues. He's had anxiety attacks. He has issues traveling, different things, and he wasn't cleared by his doctor and I believe his therapist to participate until he was fully, ready to go. So Valve under fire here, because apparently Fnatic seemed to be requesting to let them use Excalibur for the international, and they refused. They said, we invited the 5 players we listed, which include Era, and you need to use him or you're not participating at all. And they're like, people are like, oh, that's not fair. What about EG? They're using their player. Why can't Fnatic do it too? And so they literally went down. They made a huge post with all these emails back and forth. You guys check it out on the Dota blog if you want to read into it more. But essentially, the big difference between that is Fear is still not doing well. He's not cleared to play, and also that happened even further back from this issue. So they've had a lot of time to adjust. They knew going in ahead of time that it could be either Fear or Mason, and they're good with it. This, obviously, a lot more last minute, within a month and a half of the tournament, and saying, oh, hey, we got a health issue here. And I think the biggest difference here is that Era emails Valve after having a discussion with his teammates and says, hey, actually, I've been cleared. I'm apparently in good health mental health. I can participate. My therapist, doctor, both say it. But my team agreed that it would be a bold move and would be rough to use him instead of Excalibur because he wasn't able to boot camp with them, and they thought they would have better results with Excalibur. So they wanted to use him instead. And that's where Valve drew the line. So that's kind of the basic premises. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
I have very weird thoughts about it. Not in like a creepy stalkery sort of way, but it just that I still sort of straddle the fence. I'm gonna let y'all in. The mental health thing is like something that's sort of near and dear to my heart, and I can totally understand if an organization was like, we really want Era to be in a great place. We're not going to force him to play. You look at other professional sports, you have players that go, put me back in, coach. I'm ready to go. When they've like suffered a concussion from getting hit too hard, they go back in and they wind up dead, or they wind up having problems later on in life. And, those mental health issues can be more crippling than the physical ones. Talking about fears, risks, like, oh, okay, cool, dude, you're going to have to use the other hand. Not to like downplay that at all, but if you're gonna if you're gonna like have something that could potentially scar somebody for the rest of their life and the way that they interact with life in general, that's kind of rough. And so part of me is like, okay. But if you have doctors that are saying, hey, you're clear, you can do it, you think you're good, we think you're good, our professional opinion is you're good, go do it. Especially, it's not like the international is next week. It's not far off, right? But these emails have, been flying before today, right? So there's been time where Fnatic could re-enter Era into the fold. Fnatic themselves have said we have to adjust to Excalibur, so they are somewhat constricted by having him in the team. But for some reason, they don't want to play with Era. They don't want Era to play. And, to Valve's point, we invited him. He can play. Make him play. Or it's not even make him play. It's let him play. So I almost sort of doubt that a company is so like behind the well-being of one of their players that they would say, oh no, we really want you to stop because we're really concerned. You almost wonder if it is more like, we think we'll be more successful with Excalibur and we think we'll be more successful with him in the future, which, to finish my rant, Jay, in case you were wondering, in case you were falling asleep, is kind of strange because it really, a couple months ago, Fnatic was really putting on a good show. They were really doing well. They weren't able to clinch first places, but they put up strong seconds. And to be honest, I feel like that's not anything to wave a stick at. So it's tricky. What do you think?
I don't know. It's a mess. I mean, like you said, it doesn't seem like it's a clear-cut thing because everyone was questioning Valve's communications team when the qualifiers were around. If you remember all that mess with the Brazilian team and whatnot, they had multiple issues, and that's back when they weren't being as transparent because we didn't know what was really going on behind the scenes until we saw like a post from someone on some site, and it was like, oh, this is kind of eye-opening. And I'm gonna be say I've been guilty in the past. For example, Facebook. You see people post these news articles about like, oh, this school just paid $500,000 to kill all cats, and you're like, what?
Why would you kill
that sounds so rude. And then immediately you bring out the pitchforks like, oh my god, I hate that hospital, I want them all to die. Maybe that's a little exaggerated.
I thought it was a high school.
Oh, but now it's a hospital. It's a hospital high school. They talented. Heal people and they teach high school
how to heal
in the high school format. So anyways, and then you like realize there's like another article posted in a comment by someone else. It's like, dude, read this, and it's just saying, hey, that was a completely biased article, and it's not all the facts.
They're actually zombie cats, and they're coming to kill all of us. Maybe we should do something about this.
Exactly. Maybe hard to kind of compare apples to apples here, but at the end of the day, it is really good to see all the facts, everything taken in consideration before trying to just form an opinion. But yeah, it's just such a weird situation, and I just really hope that if Era does indeed participate with his team, that nothing kind of resurfaces, nothing, because this is going to be the biggest stage of his life. You know what I mean? Like, this is the grand stage. And not only, it's not even like previous years where it was Benaroya Hall, which was big, but no, this is like ESL 1 size. Like, this is massive stadium, tons of noise, tons of pressure, $10 million, your whole career on the line. I mean, I feel like if you're a little mentally unstable, you might get messed with a little bit here. And, you know, everyone wants what's best, including Valve, in his health issues. So I think he's going to be going back and, like, getting, like, written notices and confirmations from the doctors to make sure everything's good. But, I mean, you know, obviously, Fnatic's going to do whatever they need to do to play, because they've been working all year for this goal. And, you know, so if they need to play with Era and he's okay, then I guess that's what they're going to do. But otherwise, it's a shame. It could be a real shame.
I really, really hope that it's Fnatic like having his best interests in mind, or that they, you know, think that they do by having him not play, and not that they're like trying to push him out, or, you know, they want to play Excalibur instead, just because they think they might have better odds or something. Because, you know, even if you say you're medically cleared, if your issue is around travel and high pressure situations where there's a great demand for you to perform and stuff, well, yeah, like you said, this is the biggest esports event in history, the biggest stage for an esport, probably, and you have to fly to another country to do it. It's literally all of the things. And if he did wind up having an issue and it was like really severe, and like he had to like quit professional Dota, or, you know, it had a drastic impact on his life, and you go like, wow, Fnatic, you were right. Maybe we should have benched him. But at the same time, you would think that these licensed professionals would take that into account and say, you know what, we think it's cool. I mean, they clearly have to know that that's coming up if they're going to clear him for it, right? So, you know, I don't know.
Liability's on the line, that's for sure. But they even announced, Fnatic announced that they already had in mind a plan to, should Excalibur be able to participate, they would split his earnings. Whatever he earned, Excalibur and Era would split it down the middle. So, I don't know if I read down the middle, but they were going to split it in whatever fashion that is. So it sounds like they weren't trying to screw him out of money, because obviously he was a big contributing factor for them getting to TI4 invite. There's no question of that. So it's not like they're trying to hurt him, but at the same time, like you were saying, they want what's best for his mental health, but also for their team. I mean, you know, I understand their side of it too. This player hasn't been with them for a couple months, boot camping, going hard in these tournaments, and you know, these other teams, you know, they're going ham. You know, they're doing whatever they can, maybe except Navi, to you know, get ready. No, I gotta give them maybe a little more credit. But Navi US or Navi? Oh, we don't know which one I'm talking about. But not Narvi. You know I'm talking about them when I say Narvi. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky situation, like I said, and it's gonna be interesting to see the final verdict. But at this point, it kind of looks like Era is gonna swoop back in.
I'm cool with it. I mean, like you said, I'm glad that they had some contingency plan to play him, because, you know, Fnatic, he is part of the 1-2 punch, right? Like, the getting their signature style out, he's critical to that to some degree, right? So I feel like all the success that they've had earlier in the year, like mentioned before, you know, he's been a part of that. So them getting the international, he should get, you know, something for helping getting them there. But I just want to say, I thought it was funny too, just when you were mentioning Navi and Narvi, that in the Dendy interview at ESL Frankfurt, he was asked, you know, if the Navis scrim against one another and if they'll be spending time together in the US at the international. And he was asked, so who normally wins the scrims? And he was like, I don't remember. It's like, does that mean you? Does that mean that you normally win the scrims? Because that's what it sounds like. And that's probably what we'd all expect. But Yeah.
Apparently, the chat has said that Fnatic should drop Era and Excalibur and put me in. And they want to start a change.org petition.
Let's do it.
So I guess I need to practice up on Meepo and Tinker.
Change.
Yeah, maybe that won't happen immediately. We'll see. Maybe put the petition. We'll see where it goes. But nonetheless, so that's kind of what the nuts, because it's just such a weird situation. It's cool, though, at the same time, to see some transparency along the way, see Valve's take on it. Put it in a way that was, like, harsh. They didn't, like, put down Fnatic or anything. They simply stated the facts they had and kind of backed up why they were making the decisions they were making. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. On to real what the nuts things that wasn't actually that aren't like real topics. Well, they're real topics, but you know what I mean. No one's hurt feelings might get hurt from this one. Shanomad, I told you I've been watching him stream.
Mm-hmm.
He decided in one of his games recently to go Jakiro middle against an Exort Invoker. So, pretty manly.
Yeah, that's pretty manly.
It's pretty manly. 17 minutes in, after a bottle gets Radiance. So, I'll give you a spoiler. He didn't win the game. But, there's a couple of things to discuss here, I think. Let's just ignore the second thing I said. Let's just start with Jakiro versus Exort Invoker middle. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
Jakiro's durable, right? Exort Invoker's been nerfed a little bit with the Forge Spirits, right?
Yeah, Cold Snap, so nerf.
I don't know. I mean, the cool thing about Jakiro, if you're like maxing Liquid Fire, you have free damage often. Helps you last hit if you have good timing. Is good harass because it's free. So it's like
free is good.
It's not. I'm not like super shocked when I think through it. It is really impressive that he was able to do that well with it. And you know, I guess Radiance is always nice to help you farm. Interesting. It's interesting. Maybe not the ideal build in all situations, but I definitely appreciate the trollness. And you know what? You're like all dots anyway, right? So you just gotta add on to it.
Stack it up, man. I mean...
Or the Venom.
Radiance Phoenix, we get it, right? He's a shiny bird, he needs a shiny quality to himself. Lone Druid, send the bear, burn people down, it's great, get a blink, that's all good. But you're right, there's a lot of dots. But I just feel like I get it, he's got a short attack range, so I guess he has to be close to auto attack, which I guess a middle Jakiro will probably do. But in most cases, he's long range ice pathing and macro pyring, so it seems a little contradictory. But, you know, if you can get in Radiance in 17 minutes on any hero, you probably should just do it, just because.
I mean, yeah, you just... For the swag factor, I think.
If nothing else, the swag factor helps. But yeah, I found that was a rather hilarious game to watch. I also posted today on Facebook. I want your opinion on what I'm calling Team Knockup.
Mm-hmm.
Sand King, Nyx Assassin.
I thought it was Team Knocked Up, and I thought it was like an all-chick lineup. I read it wrong. Knockup is good too, though, I guess. No. Does Team Knockup play against an all-female hero lineup?
Yes.
Yes.
Only if Hobby Lobby's sponsoring the team. So, only people IRL understand that kind of stuff.
I don't even understand it.
It's fine. It doesn't have to. No one has to. Except for the one guy who helped me out. Thanks, Philip. So, the team composition. Sand King, Nyx Assassin, Lion, Tidehunter, and Kunkka. I was inspired by that Lion game you referenced where I made many Fishmen. B-Dun was playing the Nyx, and we would just go impale after impale and would just knock people up all night long. The fun eventually, did. but you had to go for it for a while. And I would keep telling him, like, you gotta line him up, man. You gotta line him up, time him. And I was messing with him because he's done. But it just reminded. I'm like, you know what? We could do this with a lot of heroes. What's the possibilities here? Do you think that strat would work?
Okay, so what are we doing here? We're doing Kunkka mid, Tidehunter off lane.
Easy. Sand King jungle.
Yeah.
And then Nyx Lion. The double impale Odage.
There have been safe lane disruptors, so it's not like it's completely unfounded. Maybe. Oh no, you send your. Oh no, we're retarded. You send Kunkka to the safe lane. Ensures farm. You send Nyx middle. Sand King Lion supporting Kunkka.
Beautiful.
Because then you can even X. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's totally what you do.
God, that's actually really strong lanes. It actually worked out surprisingly well. And then the team fights. You got the Tide. You got the boat. You got all the knockups in the world. Epicenter. I mean, I mean,
I think you also have to go like for an AoE Aura damage builder or team or something. You can go like Phoenix, Spectre, Enigma, Necrolight. Maybe this composition doesn't work quite as well in practice, but I think the theory is kind of strong.
Wait, what's that theory? I don't even understand it.
It's just AoE damage. Yes.
Wow, that's awful. No, I don't like that
just
strategy
AoE
nearly as much.
damage over time.
What are you even calling that team? Does it even have a witty name? I mean, you'd have to have a witty name or else it's not a team.
More dots. I don't know. I'll come up with it. It's a work in progress.
Apparently, okay? Very much so, I would say.
Well, what can you
Shots
do?
fired.
Shots fired.
Anyways, wow, this episode's going for quite a while. I think that's pretty much it. We got the appetizer, the meat and potatoes, and the dessert all wrapped up here. Apparently nuts are for dessert. Any last words here before we close this out?
I have so many words to say last. Neither of them are the least of words either. As we've, I guess, I'm making the point all episode. Seriously, go check out the Shane Ahmad interview. It was really awesome. He's a great guy. Go out there, support his stream. Follow him at the International. He's a really a great guy, 100%. So you should definitely go lend him your support. You should also check us out on Facebook.com/DotaOnDemand, the YouTube.com/DotaOnDemand, the Twitch, of course. And then, of course, you can download on Stitcher and iTunes as well. We are also going to create, which I'm going to put Jay on the spot to create the name right now, an in-game DoD chat channel. We are going to have that going because we are inspired by this 1v1 matchup thing to get some community-driven games, some in-houses, if you will.
I think there's a guild thing. Can't I make a guild?
There are lots of things.
I mean, I'm going to make a guild is what I meant. I'm not questioning it. The guild's getting made, so yeah.
If not in Dota, then we're going to start a World of Warcraft accounts up again, and then we're going to go ham with the guilds.
Perfect. So if you want an invite to that, you'll have to add us on Steam for that, boys and ladies. So, yeah, go ahead and add us, J4Y, and, well, actually, he's Bedlam. He's messing it up. He should be BDLM on Steam, but he's not.
Sorry.
But you will see our Dota On Demand picture. That is on our Facebook page. You'll know which ones to add. We're the ones with all the high win rates, probably. So just go ahead and add us, and we'll get you involved in there.
Yeah, so absolutely, guys. Go out there, watch some interviews, play some Dota. We'll see you guys next week.